Meanwhile, in the People's Republic of California, Governor Gavin Newsom is expanding its Golden State stimulus, granting every 2 in 3 Californians a check of $600. Wow. Sounds like paying to stay home to me. Joining me now to discuss is California Congressman Darrell Issa. Congressman, always great to have you here. A new report indicates that last March, the United States money supply was at $4.28 trillion. Now it sits at $18.6 trillion, nearly quadrupling. If you would comment on Biden's profligate spending and the inflation that it's causing, and then also comment on Newsom, is he going to be able to buy votes with their own money?
Well, you can buy votes until you run out of money, and he's going to run out of money before 2024. So I don't think there's any question at all that we have a crisis looming. And you only have to look no further than California versus Florida. California over 8% unemployment, Florida below 5%. It's a difference of policies between two governors.
Yeah, no kidding. And about the profligate spending, I was talking with Trish Regan last week, and she said, how do you like this idea of already buying an outrageous cup of coffee at $5 at Starbucks? What about that reaching $35? And that's what happens when you print so much money, your money becomes worthless. And that seems to be the Biden administration's goal.
Well, there's no question at all that inflation is good for big government. And that's one of the lessons. I'm old enough to know the lessons of the 60s and 70s before Reagan. It was runaway inflation, but with a progressive income tax, government basically loves nothing more than being able to print money, have it go down in value, and essentially as a debtor, never really pay its debts. That's a plan. It's a failed plan. It is one where after Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan had to come in, wrench that kind of idealism out of the economy and get inflation under control. And we've for more than 20 years afterwards reaped the benefits. Quite frankly, we need a Ronald Reagan again. And Joe Biden might have known Ronald Reagan, but he's known Ronald Reagan.
That's for sure. Now, you switching gears here, you have proposed bipartisan legislation that seeks to bring accountability to the Department of Justice. And boy, are they in need of accountability after the FBI designated the assassination attempt of your fellow Republican congressman by a crazed Bernie Sanders supporter. The FBI classified that as suicide by cop. That's just one problem in myriad problems in the Department of Justice. What will your bill do?
Well, based on guidance that came out of the the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, there's only one part of government in which lawyers will not be held accountable by the IG or any outside group, but rather only by their peers. And that's the Department of Justice. We are going to change that. We're going to bring them into government so that if an attorney commits a crime, if an attorney harasses a person that works for them or a coworker, any of the many things that happen in real life, they will no longer be immune from it. And that's a good first step to bring the Department of Justice to, quite frankly, be accountable. They're not accountable today. Literally, they will throw the IG out if he comes in trying to check into even a crime if it's committed by a lawyer at the Department of Justice. We think that's wrong. We think it's wrong on a bipartisan basis. And I want to thank the Inspector General for his leadership in bringing it to us. And now it's time for us to change the law to make it very clear that the FBI and the entire Department of Justice can no longer be above the laws they're sworn to enforce.
The insane running the asylum. I'm going to go down a list of stuff for you here, Congressman. Joe Biden gave a National Day of Prayer proclamation that was missing the word God. The Capitol Police denied gathering for the Day of Prayer at the U.S. Capitol. And now Biden canceled a Memorial Day event for our veterans. Now, this is all very much an odd play for a guy who campaigned on returning America to normal. What do you say?
Not in 30 years and 6 presidents has anyone considered telling those people who come to on Memorial Day to remember our POWs, our MIAs, and those who died in service for their country. You know, these motorcycle riders, in this case, who come every year for over 30 years, they got permits from the Department of Transportation, from the Department of Interior, from Maryland, from DC, and from Virginia, and then were denied the use of the Pentagon parking to assemble for the first time in decades by this president. It's unconscionable, and it has to change.
And my understanding is you have some legislation that might do just that. What does that look like?
We're specifically giving the this group and this activity standing, just as we do the USO and other groups who serve on behalf of our men and women who serve their country. We should do no less for this organization. And quite candidly, we think the administration may back off. But if they don't, then there's no question at all. This will pass on an overwhelmingly bipartisan basis. Most Democrats feel, as I feel, that those who stand in harm's way and serve, some of whom never come home or come home battered and broken, deserve this day and this day to be special, especially in our nation's capital. It has been for decades. It will be again under this legislation.
Let's look down the road here later this week. A Wall Street Journal reporting that Congresswoman Liz Cheney orchestrated a secret media campaign to counter President Trump's rhetoric while he was still in office. Now, this week, the GOP is going to vote one more time to keep or dump Liz Cheney from leadership. How will the vote go, and how will you vote, Congressman?
Well, you know, if you're a leader, any of these positions, including Kevin McCarthy, you serve at the pleasure of the people you represent, and your job is to represent them. She has decided that she can no longer do that. And time again, in things she said, she makes it clear that she's going on her own. If she wants to go on her own as a member of Congress, that's her right. If she wants to go on her own as a member of leadership, she can't. And I think that was made clear when we voted to retain her the first time, based on the assumption that she was part of a team led by Kevin McCarthy and Steve Scalise. She has now made it clear she's not part of that team. She's not willing to, as she said, lie for them. Candidly, I'm with Steve Scalise. I'm with Kevin McCarthy, and I don't believe she will survive this vote.
All right, last thing. Rumblings in Washington, D.C., and they've been going on for some time now, but they're getting a little louder, suggest that Mr. Biden will soon be replaced by his Vice President Harris. Have you heard anything about this?
You know, we keep hearing that rumor, and I tell everyone that after the midterms, could that happen? Of course. Do I think it's going to happen now? No. I think the people who are pulling the strings of the president have exactly what they want. He makes a speech every day or two, reads it, and then goes back to being invisible. He's promoting and pushing forward her career in a way in which it would not surprise me that he steps down before he completes the term, but I don't expect it to happen anytime soon. Frankly, I expect them to use the president the way they've been using him, to read speeches, not always correctly, but to read them and then let a straight partisan activity go forward. You know, our vice president is not known for having a bipartisan bone in her body. They're taking advantage of the old Joe Biden's history of being bipartisan in this completely partisan activity they've been up to.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, she couldn't even carry her home state of California when she was running for president, but I just find it odd that she may find herself in that position. She couldn't even get the support of California. Congressman Darrell Issa, always appreciate the time here on the Chris Salcedo Show. We'll talk again soon, sir.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.